Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Marlon, and this is the UnknownHobo. And today we're going to be talking about Nancy Pelosi thinking there shouldn't be a presidential debate. And also, Amazon has announced that they're going to be selling the Echo Dot 4th generation starting next month, or you can get it delivered from pre-ordering around next month. As always, if you do have any suggestions, or if you want to help support my podcast or any of this, you can definitely reach out to me at my email, which is theunknownhobo@yahoo.com. Or if you add me on any social media, which you really should, send me a DM there. Now, this is probably the most ridiculous thing I heard. Okay, there's a lot of ridiculous thing I've been hearing recently in the whole government sphere. Because it's getting really close to election time. They're throwing commercials like crazy about voting for them. And Nancy Pelosi is talking about how there should not be a presidential debate, which is ridiculous in a whole. Now, her whole thing is talking about how when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were debating, he was like skulking or stalking around her, and the moderator should have told her to go sit down. Now, if any of you actually believe that's what happened, you really need to go watch the clip of that actual debate and see how far away he was. He was literally by his chair, just walking back and forth. Now, the bigger problem with the fact that they're using that as a reasoning, how do you expect somebody to be the president if they're being intimidated by somebody else just walking around them? So that argument is completely obscene. It's like, okay, you want me to lead one of the strongest or the strongest nation in the world, but I should be intimidated by this random guy walking around by me? Like, that's ridiculous. So that argument makes no sense, because why would you want somebody that gets intimidated by some other random dude around them? You're supposed to own the room, show dominance. Now, that's my take on it. So that argument's completely ridiculous. You should watch that video if you even slightly think that's what happened. Now, the fact that that's Nancy Pelosi is saying there shouldn't be a presidential debate. Why not? Like, at the end of the day, you're advocating for less information for people. Because as it is right now, like the whole joke about Joe Biden being in his basement and where's Hunter, it's like, okay, you're playing into that more. So you don't want people to see Joe Biden more. You don't want to see him debate. And that's what's running through my head, because it does not make sense why you would not want a presidential debate. There's always been a presidential debate up to this point, and you're saying, oh, well, there's going to be some skullduggery by Donald Trump, which I was like, I've never heard that word before, but I want to Google it for you guys, just to let you know. So skullduggery, brought to you by Google. It means underhanded or unspeculacious behavior. This means trickery. So I'm like, why would you use that word to sound really fancy? Just say, but I guess legal talk, or not legal talk, but political talk, to make it just sound ridiculous. Now, at the end of the day, like, there should be a presidential debate. I'm starting like a champion, because it doesn't make sense. Because you're like, okay, well, Joe Biden's getting less exposure. Trump has been in campaign mode since, I don't think he even stopped campaigning. That's the funniest part. I don't think he ever stopped campaigning. He's keep going. But it's like, logically, you would think, okay, the presidential debate would be for Joe Biden to show his dominance, show that he's right. This is what he's talking about. Boom, 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 boom. Get more votes. But she's saying, oh, well, because Trump's going to lie about something. And I'm like, well, wouldn't that be the situation where Joe Biden's like, that is a lie? Or the moderator should be like, that is a false statement? Huh? I don't know. Because, like, imagine if Joe Biden is like, hey, listen, I can pick up a $10,000 brick and throw it and then it'll never come back. Or like stuff like that. The moderator would be like, that's impossible. So that doesn't really make any sense. It's such a ridiculous thing to say. I don't think there should be a presidential debate. The whole premise of the debate is to see these two parties with opposing views answer questions. Now, hopefully it's not like 2016 when the DNC provided questions for the debate. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Because the way it's going, where it looks like I said, Nancy Pelosi wants them to avoid a debate. It might. I don't know. I don't work in the political sphere, whatever the way you pronounce it. S-P-H-E, or there's probably another E and an R there. So I think it's completely ridiculous that you would think that there should not be a presidential debate. Now, at the end of the day, outside of that, like, Nancy Pelosi is just doing a lot of crazy stuff. Like, she's been blocking the stimulus check for a while now. Like, if you listen to any of my older podcasts, she's just come up with excuses. Like, I don't want to have a cheap date. I don't want to do this. I want to make sure we spend money to help the American people. I don't want to do small checks. There literally was a coalition. I think it's called like the Problem Solver Coalition, or whatever the proper name is. It's just a weird name, but to paraphrase it, it's literally just a group of Democrats and Republicans that sat down and they come up with like a middle ground. So that's the package that is still up for play right now, where it's a middle ground, where the really cool thing about this package is the fact that it has a second stimulus check, which is the main thing a lot of people care about, and it has automatic triggers in them. So you might be saying, Marlon, what are these automatic triggers? If they use these triggers, is my house going to explode? Am I going to have a money tree grow? No, you're not. If anybody's going to grow a money tree, it should be me. I'll share it with you. Or if you grow one, share it with me, because I'm poor, super poor. So what the automatic triggers is depending on the environment of the economy in March, we might get a third stimulus check by default. Like, this is something that's built in this bill. And Donald Trump is in support of it. He's just like, listen, go ahead with this bill. All the Republicans are in support of it. And a bunch of Democrats are. And Nancy Pelosi is just like, nope, I want more money. And Donald Trump's like, you know what, Republicans, stop being so cheap and put some more money in. Because like at the end of the day, like one of the arguments I've heard about this whole process, and it's really sucky that all this is happening during an election year, because stuff's getting so grimy and it's so ridiculous. And there's so many people in the world that don't listen or don't read multiple facets of news. Not you people. You guys are listening to me and I'm ridiculous, but at least like I'm sharing my opinion on these subjects. And I will always recommend that you take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Do your own research. That's why I don't generally like to give tons and tons of information, because I want to leave you wanting a little bit more where you can go and search it yourself. Because there's no sense in me telling you that this is what you think, this is what you should think. But we're all our own people. We all have our own thoughts. We all have our own points of view. So I will always condone you going out, do some extra research, because one of the things that Donald Trump was like elected on was the whole cleaning out the swamp. And the really weird particular thing that nobody tends to realize, which is weird. Now, when, say you go into a work environment, right, where you're the new employee and you go into there and they're doing very shady things. Like I've worked places like this. When I used to do like commission sales at one point, you go in and they're doing some shady stuff. It's not illegal or anything, but it's kind of like, it's morally reprehensible, if that's the correct word for it. So it's like, Now you go into those areas and say you're the guy that's trying to say, yo, this is wrong. You shouldn't do that. You should be honest with these people. You should tell them this. You should tell them this straight up. And you know what happens? You get attacked. You get either attacked or you might get fired. You might get reprimanded like crazy from all the people, because it's a whole ecosystem of people that are there. This is the way it is. You're not going to mess with this. You're messing with our money. That's what this is. And that's the thing that nobody realizes. Like, yes, you can say Donald Trump is corrupted and everything else, but it's just like the people that are attacking him are the people that's been there the whole time. Do you not see it's weird that these people that everybody's complaining about government, like they hate government, blah, 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 they're all attacking them. And now it's like you're on the side with the government people that you said you hated probably around the last 8 years ago. So it's like, what are you doing? Like, I love America. I'm from a different country and I love America 100% Orinos. So like, but I'm not going to be ridiculous about this. At the end of the day, like, I understand there's a ton of politicians that really don't care. Like, they're just there. They know they're going to get elected because not enough people pay attention. But it's just like, hopefully they're talking about how everything's getting polarized and everything else. Nancy Pelosi is one of the big reasons why this is happening. She's just saying some ridiculous things, completely disregarding people. And the fact that she thinks that there should not be another presidential debate when there's always been a presidential debate is completely ridiculous. Like, if we're going by sense, if we're not going to have the debate, why do they even have the election then? Why even? Just give Trump the next 8 years. In all honesty, he's probably going to get him anyway. If you're looking at it and being completely honest, like, you can bring up coronavirus all you want, and you can say, well, he reacted fast to coronavirus. You can say he reacted slowly to coronavirus. You can say both those things. At the end of the day, people did die. It doesn't really matter the amount of people. Well, it doesn't matter the amount of people because you don't want a lot of people to die. But at the end of the day, it still is being handled. And it's like, okay, we have one guy that's willing to go explain his points, do whatever. And then we have another guy that doesn't even want to talk. He doesn't even want to spend the time. Like, it's really ridiculous. Like, I remembered back in the day, and I'm saying back in the day, I wasn't even born. So, like, I think I was watching Hamilton, veering off subject. I've been veering off subject this whole time. So if you ever watch Hamilton, like, apparently, according to to this musical, I found out that apparently the president would be the person that wins the debate, and the vice president would be the person that loses the debate. I would love that. I would genuinely love that. Forget having vice presidents, but I think maybe that would cause a lot of weird, like, mysterious deaths. Because, like, imagine if, like, oh, bro, yeah, never mind. You know what, cancel that. That was a horrible idea. Because imagine if your candidate's actually completely horrible and they really don't care, like, at all. But even, like, this go around, it is so horrible. It's the exact same thing as 2016. The only difference is, like, Bernie Sanders is not as Bernie Sanders-y as he was in the past. And, like, Andrew Yang is doing a ton of stuff. Like, if I had to pick somebody to, like, go out, it would have been, like, even though I don't like Bernie Sanders as much, and I have a friend and she loves Bernie Sanders. She has, like, Bernie Sanders figurines and everything else. Like, he would have been a lot better than Joe Biden. Like, Andrew Yang would have been a lot better than Joe Biden. And they have two different talking points. And that's the funniest part. Like, Joe Biden's talking point, for the most part, has been, I've been in politics and I have the experience. So you're saying you've been there this time and you were vice president and somehow the world's worse. And you also were one of the people that wrote a law that incarcerated a ton of people. Oh, wait, and your vice president person nominee, Kamala Harris, also put a bunch of people in jail. It's like, okay, he's getting hammered on that. Which is, I think that's what's probably going to happen, because I would love to hear Trump say, well, who wrote that crime bill that incarcerated blah, blah, blah amount of people? Let's ask him. That'd be great. That would be great. Because you can imagine, like if you listen to one of my old podcasts, and I'm going to say it again, take some time, go read articles about Joe Biden or Kamala Harris pre-2015, 2016. Probably at least pre-2016. Go read those articles. You're going to see a bunch of talk about how corrupt they are, all this stuff. And it disappears past that point. Because they already started a whole process they're going to put Joe Biden up there. Like, Bernie Sanders has a completely different thought process. He has a long history where he's fighting for people, doing all this stuff. So he can play off his history and what he's worked for. Andrew Yang was pushing universal basic income, which would have been really funny if they had a presidential debate during coronavirus time. You know what Andrew Yang would just probably get up there and say? Hey guys, I'm Andrew Yang. Yeah, Andrew Yang. Because, you know, Andrew Yang's a cool guy. He'd be like, well, you see how the politicians are fighting over this $1,200 a month? I wanted to give you $1,000. Sorry, my mistake. This $1,200 in 4 to 6 months. Well, I wanted to give you $1,000 a month. If this keeps going on, that's what I'm going to do day one. Can you imagine? He'll instantly get votes. He'll probably win. Like, listen, I don't know if any Democrats are going to ever probably listen to this, but listen. As a random black guy, living the dream here in America, or at least trying to live the dream, just like, can you swap Andrew Yang in with Joe Biden? Just trade them? Or like, just independent party? Can we just get Andrew Yang and just throw him up there? Just throw him, because I think he would like instantly win the election if it's like, you know what? These politicians are being horrible. If I get elected, because he's a Democrat, he's like, all right, I'm working with Democrats, because Democrats aren't going to argue with their own people. Because they're like, okay, whatever. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this and this. And like, Andrew Yang is going out of his way after all this stuff and still doing stuff like his whole Humanity Forest movement. Like, I can see him coming back in 2024 and he'll be a monster, bro. Like, that's the thing. Andrew Yang coming back will be a monster. And I hope they don't screw him over like Bernie Sanders. I really hope. But like this whole presidential debate dodging stuff, Nancy Pelosi, like, oh, go sit down. There's a good chance you might get kicked out of office. There's just all this crazy stuff's going on. So for like, as the podcast pretty much progress, you're gonna hear me talk a lot more about like Nancy Pelosi doing all this crazy stuff, because like it's voting season or voting year. And it's like, it's really, really sad. There's people that are really behind in mortgage payment, rent, people that can't pay their employees, businesses have shut down. And like, even the $1,200 is really not a ton, but it's something. It's something, bro. Like, and these people are just like, oh, well, whatever. No. Like, tech companies are like, I'm a very big fan of tech companies as a whole. But like, not only just tech companies, but pretty much any company has to do with data selling is making a killing right now, because all these people are home and they're just on their phones doing whatever, even more than normal. So they're making a very big killing on the whole situation. Now, outside of all that stuff, because like I've been rambling on, it's just like a tunnel of just ridiculousness. At the end of the day, there should be a presidential election. Not an election, but, well, yeah, there should be an election, of course. But there should be a presidential debate. It does not make logical sense why there should not be, unless one party is scared of screwing up. Like, that is the only thing. Because it doesn't matter if you think the other person's lying or not. All politicians lie. At the end of the day, all of them do. Call them out. Call them out if need be. Have the moderator call them out. Don't make it a 2-verse-1. That's a whole big different issue. But if they're saying something that is very false and they can't defend it, they'll say, okay, cool. That's incorrect. That did not happen. Don't change the story, but say, hey, that didn't happen, or vice versa. So outside of that, let's get into tech stuff. I just wanted to get that whole giant like mess of information off the board. Now, I'm very big into smart home world. I've had the first, second, and third Echo Dots. Never really got like the actual big Echo one because they were all really expensive and I couldn't really justify spending $100 on a bigger version just for the speaker, when normally I just connect it to like a soundbar or something else. Or I normally do like the whole, like, if you don't know, what Echo Dots are all Amazon products for the most part, you can pair them all together. You could do like multi-room music, which is something they really introduced during the like second, third Echo Dot. The first ones can do it now, but it wasn't really a big thing back there. You just have to kind of like finagle it for it to work, kind of. So I never really saw the reason to get a bigger version of it. Now, the biggest difference that came from the second to the third Echo Dot, which by the way, I actually have a YouTube video about that. So if you actually go to my channel, my main one, which is just my name, Marlon Mohabier, there's actually a video where I do a review of the Echo Dot third generation and my thoughts on that. So I definitely would recommend going and watching that for a little bit more details, but I'll touch on it a little bit better here. So one of the major difference between the second and third Echo Dot is the volume and the quality is ridiculous. So the volume on an Echo Dot like second generation at 10 would be probably the equivalent for the volume on a third generation Echo Dot at like a 4 or 5. It's that much louder. Now you're thinking maybe louder, you might have to deal with maybe some sort of clipping from highs or the lows going too high or too low outside of the actual bar that they have when you're listening to music or everything else. No, it's not even. The quality is so much better. And the reason why I think it is they also swapped off the port on the back to a regular like DC jack. So before, with the first, second, and even some of the other Echo devices like the Echo Connect, the Fire Stick still has it this way. They used to just use your regular USB. Now USB does transfer a certain amount of power, and this is standard USB. This isn't Type-C. I'm gonna talk about Type-C in a second. So this is just your standard USB they would use. Now it didn't transfer a lot of power. It didn't really give you a lot of perks to do anything else outside of that. So with this, have the DC adapter. Yes, you can't randomly use your Echo Dot charging cable for your phone anymore if you have an Android phone, but it has more power in there. So I'm assuming because it has more power, is able to drive so much better sound. The speakers in there are by far better. Now around this time when the second and third Echo Dot were around, there was like this big giant thing that was going on when they were talking about how people could use laser pointers to hack into people's Echo Dots. I haven't heard really much about that since. They probably did some sort of firmware update to deal with it. Even till this day, we are still dealing with people that are scared about Echo Dots being in your room. And I'm actually sick of seeing YouTube videos online like top 3 places not to put your Echo Dot or your Echo device. Place 1, don't put it into your bedroom because it might be listening to your intimate moments. Place number 2, don't put it in your bathroom because it might be listening to your intimate moments. I don't know if it actually says that part about the intimate moments. The first one for the bedroom, yes. And place number 3, don't put your Echo Dot in your living room because it might be listening into your intimate moments. I'm just gonna keep saying intimate moments, whatever. So like, it's people that are scared of Echo Dot makes no sense to me because like, you should just, what about your phone? Like all Google phones have the ability to do that. All Apple phones have the ability to do that. Like go say, hey Siri or hey Google or hello Google, whatever it is. I'm actually happy my phone didn't go off just now. Go do that. They do all the same thing. So it's a ridiculous argument. And I see YouTube videos about it every few months. I see it pop up and they have tons of views. People, if you're worried about your Echo devices listening to you, just don't get one. And also make sure you don't get the brand newest phone. Get yourself a Razr. And if you don't know what a Razr, if you don't want to know what a Razr is, it's like this old flip phone back in the day when like, you know, when stuff was hype, when you used to use the number pad to dial, where it's like you press number 9 like 3 times to get the letter Z, I think. I don't know. I didn't have a phone back then. My mom wouldn't let me get one. Get one of those if you're really that worried about it. Or get a BlackBerry. Stylish or a Sidekick. If you guys know what a Sidekick is, you're probably going wild right now that I even mentioned a Sidekick. So anyways, outside of argument. So the 4th generation Echo Dot, that's up right now for pre-orders. Currently at this time of actually you listening to this, you can actually buy 2 of them and they'll save you like $20. You just have to use this code, which is like .2 pack, which is cool. If you're planning on getting 2, which I am actually would recommend if you're going to buy any Echo Dot devices past this point, or even from 3rd generation and up, get 2 because they have the ability to pair now and make like a surround sound ecosystem. Not the same as the multi-room sound ability, but they have the ability. So let's say if you have a Fire TV or Fire TV stick, you can connect it to it so the sound gets split to your left and right audio. Now I've tried this and it's an issue that comes up is where the sound that would come from your TV or the sound bar, connect your TV or surround sound system, whatever you have connected natively that before you use that surround sound feature, it stops working. So if what I said makes no sense, I'll paraphrase it a little bit easier. So imagine you're watching your TV in your bedroom. You have your Fire Stick connected to it. You're watching whatever you want to. You hear the speakers. You hear the sounds coming through the speakers. Now, let's say if you have a Echo Dot 3rd or 4th generation and you have them on the sides and then you're like let's pair all 3 together. What happens is you stop hearing sound from the TV directly and you only hear sounds from those 2 other Echo Dots, which doesn't make sense because now you have sound on your left side and your right side, but you don't have sound coming from straight in front of you. So I would have liked, or I like if they changed it a little bit with this 4th generation one, which is more for a firmware update issue, but you never know if this might have something built into it. Now, the 4th generation looks like a little sphere, which is cool. They went away from their little tiny, cylinder, the little half-cut cylinder. So it's more spherish. So if you ever want, you can just throw it at somebody and hit them in the head. So if somebody breaks into your house, you got a pretty solid thing you can just like whack them in the head with. Only use it for protection. No violence over here, boys. So I think it's really cool. In all honesty, I'm probably not going to get a 4th generation Echo Dot because I just got my 3rd a few months back and I actually love my 3rd generation. Even though I have a 1st and 2nd, which I'm probably going to be swapping out over time because they're kind of going bad. I've had those for God knows how long. So I'm going to hold off on maybe getting this 4th generation. I know when the 3rds originally got released, Amazon had like a big deal where you could get them for like $5, like 1 per account. So I did that. So hopefully they do something similar so I can do a review on that. And you'll probably hear a podcast episode in the future about it. Now, outside of that, because I've just been rambling around the history of Echo Dots, let's talk about the actual product itself. So as always, it comes in black. this word white and this word charcoal color, or well, it's literally called charcoal, galactor white, and actually it's blue. I don't know why I said word charcoal color. It's called twilight blue, which is okay. Now listen, this is one thing I don't understand why Amazon doesn't do it. So like they have the ones that are meant for kids, the Echo Dots for kids, and this one has a tiger face, and the other one's like a panda. And I'm like, why can't we get the adult ones, like, to do that? Why can't you just like sell the adult ones? I mean, of course you can just turn off the parental feature, but it's like, I want the tiger one. Can I get it in like a different color tiger? Can I like get it be like a panther, where it's like black and purple? That'd be legit. Amazon people, if you're listening to me, customizable shells. That'd be crazy. Oh my God. Like I would pay an extra 20, 30 bucks just to get a customizable shell on mine. Cause you imagine like the money they would make if they gave you the ability to do that. Now the argument's going to come into play where people are going to be like, well, what if they do returns? Just make it non-returnable, or make it where you buy them and you can clip on something cool. That'd be crazy. It's cool. You can just buy a customizable shell, pop it on. Who knows? Random company in existence. There you go. $1 million idea. Customizable shells, but you would have to make it easy so your common man can pop it on. Yes or no, whatever. So it's right now looks like it's being sold for $60. Well, $49.99 up to $60 up to $100. So 50, 60, 100. And it depends on if you get the base unit, which is just the Echo Dot, if you get the one that actually has the clock in there, or if you get like that bigger version or whatever it is. Now, I don't ever understand the alarm clock one. I know some people might like the idea of having an alarm clock built into their Echo Dot. I don't see the point of it. It is a voice automated device. What I literally do in the morning when I wake up, second I wake up, I'm like, Alexa, what time it is? And while I'm asking, I get up and walk away. Like, even though it's a minute second where I have to stand there and look at it, my Alexa's always like randomly covered by like my keys or something, or my phone or something is always blocking it. So I just ask and walk away. So I can't really justify telling somebody to spend an extra $10 just for the ability to see the time on there. Just ask. Literally just ask, or you can set up with a literal routine where when you know you're about to wake up, you set up a routine where it automatically tells you the time at that specific time. Like, might as well do that. It doesn't really make sense. But I mean, if you have the money to waste, go for it. Now with the bigger $99 one or $100 one, it actually comes with a subwoofer built in. It's bigger. It comes with some tweeters in there, which is cool. So sound quality is going to be a lot better. Same thing I said at the beginning, I can never really justify spending my money on that bigger one because I'm going to hook mine up to some other speakers anyway, or generally I might use it for a party or something and I really don't need that crazy of a sound quality in the rooms I put them in, because they're always like, I have my main room, have my surround sound, everything else there, but in my secondary rooms or even like in a bathroom, you just have it playing in there. You don't really need anything super crazy going off like that. But if you have not bought a third generation Echo Dot and you're still on the second one or the first one, I 100% recommend getting this. Get the 2-pack, so you save that extra $20. It is worth it. Pair them together. Listen to your audiobooks. Listen to whatever music you want. Listen to peaceful piano. That's what I listen to. And enjoy yourself. But listen, that's this episode for this week. If you want to support the channel, as I stated before, definitely share this podcast. Share, if you're watching this on YouTube, share the video wherever you are. If you do have any recommendations, or if you really just want to tell me about crazy things Nancy Pelosi is doing, or something cool that's going on with the 4th generation Echo Dot that I might not know, because there's always something crazy going on with it. Who knows? It might be clap automated, like a little clap where it's like clap on, clap, clap. That's not the sound a clap makes, but yeah, definitely subscribe, follow, bananas, waffles, tomatoes, and I will see you guys next week for the next episode, or 2 weeks from now, depending on what's going on in government world. Because it is getting a little bit closer to government season, I'm probably just gonna split my episodes, where I just do one purely based on the election, and then I'll do one based on tech, so they get their own little facets, because it's just a lot going on. But besides that, later.